General tips for the class. Again, I found it very helpful to do the optional homeworks. So, yeah, optional homework like this. In 3B discussion, we actually go over past exam questions um, that helps because they're kind of similar to how he might ask it in the current semester. Though I found actually his exams tend to either resemble the post lecture worksheets or the homework, not the homework question, or the quiz problem. So like when you're preparing for the two exams, the one final, it's a good idea to look through your post lecture worksheets and the quiz questions, especially if you're not doing that well in the quizzes. A lot of the exam questions will look very similar, and especially I think in DRE 8, one of our problems on the final was like almost exactly the same as one of our quiz questions. So it's a very good idea to go over them. Going over practical exams also kind of help for the exams themselves. For like quizzes, sometimes there might be an overlap, but I think that's kind of less. Yeah, going through the homework also, one good thing is it tests some of the questions. Kind of test your like really, do you understand the topic he's going through, and if not, you can go to him during office hours and ask how to do it, or the GSIs. They're all very helpful. Another thing while we're looking at this is actually he places a lot of emphasis on orbitals, molecular orbital theory. So in DREA, you're going to learn like how to construct the MO diagram. That's very helpful. And then after that, it's very good to know, like, be able to visualize molecular orbital questions. For example, in DREB, when we learn Diels-Alder, he does show you this kind of three-dimensional way to think about how, like, the two molecules are going together. I found this very helpful. Like, another way you can memorize or do Diels-Alder is by memorizing, like, in and out, somewhere in my notes, but yeah, I find it helpful to know the 3D like logic behind why certain groups are facing outwards, certain groups are facing inwards. But this all kind of goes off of molecular orbital theory. So for him, it's very important to like be able to visualize molecular orbitals. On each exam I've encountered with him, he's gonna ask you like fill in the orbital that the nucleophile uses to attack the electrophile and fill in the orbital that the electrophile has, right? So you can get easy points from that if you know molecular orbital theory well, but also like sometimes he'll give you a molecule and say, why doesn't this react? And it turns out it's because molecular orbitals can't really line up together or they're being blocked somehow. And yeah, it's pretty important to have that. Another important thing I think is knowing resonance. And always being able to use resonance as reasoning. For example, like if you're looking at pKa, sometimes resonance is affected by pKa. Sometimes pKa is affected by resonance. Yeah, resonance is very important. He also places, from what I've seen, a lot of importance on inductive effect. So like if you have a lot of electronegative atoms near something, it's going to be more acidic. Stuff like that. In DREB, also one of the most important things, he was kind of not very happy with my semester, is that you're gonna have to memorize. Is this 3B? No, this is 3A. But there's a table of pKa's that he'll give you like in the very first day of class. Here, so pKa of like alkane is 50, alkene is 45, whatnot. He'll give you a post lecture worksheet on the same material. Like it's a much more organized way of looking at it. But knowing this chart is very important because he'll keep asking you questions about pKa throughout the semester. Our class did not exactly memorize it that well, so I mean he constantly made remarks about that. But like on the final itself, he gave one of our older exam problems that we didn't do well on. It was just entirely pKa. So yeah, on DREB, this is a very important thing to have. Other tips is, you know, to try on the post-lecture worksheets. Like, even though it's only 5 points, it's much better if you actually like try to reason through it, even though it's due the same day. it's a good point to just go for it. Then lectures and discussions, go to them. One difference between summer and regular semesters actually is that summer semester, he's heading the discussions. So sometimes Marsden will give you problems like in the beginning of the discussion to go through, and they'll actually end up resembling the quiz questions that he prepared for you. So in discussions, it'd be discussion first, and then quiz in the last 10 minutes of class. In a regular semester, he doesn't do that because your discussions are instead headed by the GSIs. So what happens is, for me, it was on Tuesday lectures, the first 10 minutes are the quiz, and then he'll lecture for the rest of the time. Yeah. I preferred the summer one because it, gives you time to prepare for the quiz, but either way, that's how it's run. I would, since I took DREA during summer, I think the DREA class for me was a bit easier because I think there's less distractions. Like, I only took DREA L during summer, whereas in DREA B I took physics alongside, DREA B and sociology, DREA C. So in summer I could focus directly on organic chemistry, and it was very helpful. On the con side, yeah, it's really fast. DREA during summer is significantly faster than like in regular semester, but it really helps that he's like constantly giving you the post lecture worksheets and the weekly quizzes, so that always keeps me on track, and then that's very helpful when I need to prepare for quizzes, prepare for exams as well. So I'd say DREA during summer is a pretty good idea if you're able to keep up with the pace. But yeah, organic chemistry, it's difficult for a lot of people, I know, but the good thing about Marsden's DREA, DREA B is that he sets up the classes for you to succeed. As long as you, do the material he gives you, go to office hours, and interact with, study groups, then it should be a pretty manageable class. So I hope that was helpful. Yeah, enjoy chemistry with Professor Marsden. He's a very chill professor, and I really enjoyed having classes with him.